Welcome everybody to another episode of my Heroes of the Storm tutorial series level 10 here on Khaldor TV. In this video you're going to learn which hero in your team composition is best suited to take the Garden Terror or Dragon Knight when you're playing online and you're not quite sure which of your teammates should really go for that. There are a lot of situations in the game where you cannot really influence which hero is going to grab the Dragon Knight or the Garden Terror. But if you have that opportunity, you should always really think about it and follow a few simple ground routes to make sure that you get the most out of it. The first rule is that you never want to use a single healer in your team composition or a single range DPS hero to grab one of these summoning objectives, because you will take them away for the team fight that is probably about to occur within the next few seconds, and that will leave your team very weak. You might end up losing more than you gained, so always make sure that if you're running a team composition with a single healer or a single range DPS hero, that you keep them out of the objective and use one of your other teammates to grab it. As a second rule, you should always make sure that you use a melee assassin, if you have one in your team composition, to grab the summoning objective. That would be heroes like Illidan, Thrall, Kerrigan and Zeratul. They are the best suited to really take those objectives, take a Dragon Knight, a Garden Terror and go ham on the opponent and do as much damage as they possibly can while the rest of the team is backing them up. If you're running a team composition that contains multiple healers, you should usually use one of those. For example, if you're running with Lily and Uther, then make sure that you use Lily to grab the summoning objective, because Uther still has a lot of utility in the team fight. He can stun the opponent, he is not only useful for the heal, but especially his Divine Storm, his Divine Hurricane, and also the rest of his abilities really synergize very well in a team fight. So make sure that you use the healer that gives you the least team fight potential, and in that case that would be Lily. So if you're running with two healers, keep in mind, use one of them to grab up the summoning objective. If on the other hand you're running a team composition that has multiple tanks, make sure that you use the tank that has the least playmaker potential. Always use one of the 2 or 3 tanks that you're running with, but make sure that it's not Stitches, for example, who has just great initiation with the hook and real playmaker potential when you're going into the next fight. Tyrael would be another good example of a hero that you do not want to use in the plan, because his judgment can really initiate a battle and give you therefore a lot of playmaker potential to just like eliminate a hero right at the beginning and get even more out of the summoning objective that you're using. Heroes or warriors that you should use are, on the other hand, Arthas and Chen, just to give you 2 examples. They have a huge hit point pool, and normally their role in the fight is to just soak up the damage and peel for the assassins. The Plant or the Dragon Knight can do that as well. They don't really have a lot of lockdown, so in this case those would be your ideal candidates to take the summoning objective on the map. Another likely scenario is that you are running 3 range DPS heroes and you have 1 healer plus a tank in your composition. In this case, you always want to make sure that you use one of the DPS heroes to use the Garden Terror or the Dragon Knight, and you keep your healer and your tank out of this. You always make sure that you think about which hero is the best suited to really take the plant in this case. If you're, for example, running with Vala, Falstad and Nazebo, it would be a very good choice to go for the burst hero here. Use Falstad to grab the summoning objective, and then have Vala with her constant DPS still in the back, and Nazebo with the potential to really use his heroic ability to do a lot of damage, while your single tank plus the plant are just pushing the opponents away and making sure that his ultimate doesn't get interrupted. There's 2 very special heroes that we should probably mention before we close out the video, and that's Abathur and Murky. If you have, for whatever reason, a Murky in your team composition, make sure that he grabs every single one of the summoning objectives on the map, so that you finally get some value out of that little guy. And if you run Abathur, then the exact opposite is the case. You never really want Abathur to take the Garden Terror or the Dragon Knight, because you can imagine what's going to happen once the summoning duration is over. And that little guy is most likely gonna die that very instant. The only exception to that is if Abathur is in voice chat with you and just screams YOLO the entire time he's in the plant. If you keep these little guidelines in mind, I'm sure that you're gonna have much more success with your Garden Terror and Dragon Knight in the game, and probably much higher win ratio on these maps as well. I hope that you liked the video and learned something today. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe to Khaldor TV if you haven't done that either. I'm gonna see you guys with the next video. Have a great day. Bye bye.